And we are recording. Okay, so let's go over the one-on-one presentation, guys. Okay, so the one-on-one presentation is going to consist of about 6 different things. Okay, and I want you guys to be aware of what those are. Obviously, number 1 is you got to know about the trust, respect, customize form, which I'm going to cover that with you guys this morning. Okay. So this is the process of when you present a one-on-one to somebody of how you're going to do it. Number 2, you got to know the napkin presentation, which I'm going to cover. Number 3, we're going to cover the strategy and psychology section of the presentation, which you guys have seen that. Okay, very important also is number 4. I don't know if I have my Roman numerals right, but I think that's right. Is going to be the 6 steps of what we do. So this is where the logic comes in of what we show people. And then this is right here. If you're just going to do client, right? This is where your presentation will end at the 6 steps. But if you have someone like you that's like, look, I want more, I'm looking for opportunity, I want to make more money, I've been thinking about starting a business, don't know how, then you're going to do a few more steps to show people, right, what we do. You're going to cover compensation. And then last but not least, you're going to cover how much time is this going to take and the training. What kind of training could I expect here? So you got to make sure a full-on one-on-one covers all of these things here. Okay. And not all the time is you're going to have time with the prospect to go over a presentation to this degree. So I'll kind of show you, well, what happens if somebody only has, 5 to 10 minutes, because that'll happen to you as well. So you want to write this down, right? So if I only have like say a 10-minute time when you have planned for an hour, and then maybe your prospect says, Ruby, I apologize, something came up, I really only have about 10 minutes. Can we do this in 10 minutes? Like, oh, okay, well, not what I planned, but I can do that. So what do? I'm going to cover either just a napkin presentation or 6 steps. That's it. Okay. So you want to write that down, okay? Because you're not going to be able to cover all of these things. And the whole purpose, right? What is the purpose of the first appointment, right? So purpose of the first appointment is this, okay? Because your purpose of your first appointment is not to go and close a sale. It's not to bring them on board in your business, right? The purpose of a first appointment is just to get a second appointment. That's it, right? That's all. That's all you want to do here, guys, and I just want you guys to be aware of that. Is all I need to do is present what I do in a way that's compelling enough for someone to say, oh, you know what, okay, I think I want to learn more about this. This is why the first presentation is general in nature. We're not going into specific because we don't know who we're dealing with yet. We don't know the needs of this person. We don't know if we can help them yet or not. We just want to be able to know that in a very articulated, eloquent way, right? To tell people we have services and we're bringing value. But this is the process of a presentation, okay? And just kind of, if you have questions, you can type them into the chat box or reserve them towards the end. I'm going to leave time to questions. We're probably going to go close to 11 today, okay? Because this is important. So this is note-taking time. I don't want you guys just staring at the computer screen and hoping that you're going to retain all this just through looking. I'm going to convert this to a YouTube video so you can watch it over and over again. That's going to be helpful. But if you are writing it down as you're listening to me, you're going to retain the information even more. Okay, so I want to make sure that we do that. So let's go ahead and get right to it here. Let's go into, we'll start with number 1, which is trust, respect, customize. So this is, if you do not have this sheet, it's in the back office, by the way. If you do not know how to get into the back office, I probably should show you guys that real quick. Because when you guys all came on board, whether you did it face-to-face or online, we have this, we have a back office website called dfisdream.com. Okay. And if you do not know how to get in here, make sure you get with me or get with the person that's training you. And this is our back office here, right? This is something that we're constantly trying to work on and get better. But right now, it's good enough because it has resources, right? It has licensing processes. It has kind of your business in a box, things that you're going to need, right? Welcome aboard, business scripts, a fact finder, right? I'm not going to go, into this into detail, but we have a lot of tools back here that I want to show you, right? So part of that fact finder is what I call the trust, respect, customize. And I'm going to personally email this to you guys as well. So don't worry about it. But some of you, if you've been around a while, you should have this as a tool. And this is a very powerful tool for this specific reason, because I've had people say to me, well, am I trying to bring somebody on board my business, or am I just trying to make them a client? What am I trying to do? And that the answer to that, we don't know. We don't know what we're trying to do, right? Because we don't know the needs of this person. Difference Financial is not just trying to go out there and just recruit everybody. We don't want everybody, guys. We're not like, this is the difference between us and other kind of companies out there who just say, just go for them, get them all in. You don't want everybody all in. This is a financial services industry, and not everybody's either wants to do this kind of work or can do this kind of work. You want to have good quality people that really want to learn this trade, but we don't know until we know, right? So this sheet here is going to allow you to build rapport with your prospect to understand what their worldview is. And in the beginning, I did not memorize these questions. So it's okay if even on a computer screen or you're doing it in person, that you can have this sheet right in front of you and you can go step by step with them. And the answers that they're going to tell you are going to tell you the story of what they're looking for in their life. And based on those answers is based on how you're going to provide solutions. What a concept, right? That's sales 101, by the way, guys. Good salespeople are always providing solutions to problems. They don't just shove a product in people's face. They don't just say, here, join my business. No, recruiting is always a solution to a problem. Becoming a client is always a solution to a problem, right? Well, how do I do that, Carlo? I don't know. How do I provide those solutions to problems? You have to ask questions. You have to get in the world of your person. So people, love to talk about themselves. If you start talking off, telling everyone about what you're doing and why you're so excited, that's great for you. But honestly, people don't care, right? People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Remember that saying? People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And so we have to play with offense first. And we always start off with this. Everybody I sit with, doesn't matter what it is, I always start off with this. I can do this in 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes because people are talkers. But I'm going to let them talk because that's who they are. And through talking, I'm listening and I'm looking for cues. And these questions tell me a lot. So I'm going to kind of role play this with you for sake of time. Sometimes you could do a training in and just with this, and we'll probably cover this at the training on the 14th. But I'm going to go through this quickly because I think even with going through it quickly, you'll get the gist of what we're trying to do. All right. So an example is, let's say, I'm sitting down with Isaac, and Isaac's a prospect of mine, and I'm just going to role play because I know Isaac's background before he came into the business. But when I meet with somebody, notice those 3 words here on the top right here: trust, respect, right? Do it here. Trust, respect, customize. There's a reason that those words are kind of highlighted and on top because of that verbiage. Those are power words. And so here's how I start off when I meet a prospect. When they're, you get to that point, like, so what is this? What's going on here? Okay, great. So Isaac, let me first start saying, man, is my intention today is I want to earn your trust. I respect you taking time out of your schedule to meet with me. And I don't have any plans on wasting your time. So I'd love to customize what I do for you. So we're making the most value of our time here. Would that be okay? And of course, people are going to be sure. So with that being said, I'd love to ask you a few questions just to kind of get to know you. And then from there, I can kind of, position this accordingly so you're actually getting value from this. Let me repeat that. So, Isaac, good morning. My intention today, brother, is I'd like to earn your trust. I respect you taking time out of your schedule, away from your family, and I have no intentions of wasting your time today. So I'd like to customize my presentation for you so you're actually getting value from that. Would that be okay? And of course, they're going to say yes. Okay, great. Now, with that being said, I just want to ask you a few questions, nothing intrusive, just to kind of get to know you. So I start off right here, right? So what do you do? Basically, what's your current career? What do you do? And he used to work at FedEx, right? So I'm gonna role play like he used to work at FedEx, right? He's like, well, I'm a delivery driver at FedEx, right? And I might elaborate more on that. Okay, cool. How did you get into that? How long you been doing that? Right? What made you get into that? And that's going to tell me a lot about him. Basically, is he a networker? Is he someone that has people skills? Is he, did he just apply normally? Right? I want to know what's making this person tick. That's why I'm asking these questions. Next question here is, Isaac, do you love that job? Do you love your career? And I'm going to stay quiet. And what he told me is no. Right? I don't love that. Matter of fact, he quit that right before he came on board here because he already was looking for something entrepreneurially. But I'm going to ask that question, and this is a very important question, is asking people, do they love what they do, right? And they're going to tell you, oh, no, it's just a job, right? And if they tell you that, what does that say? That means that they probably don't see themselves doing that for the rest of their career. They're probably just doing it right now because that's the best thing they have right now until another opportunity presents itself. Now, I'm not going to at that point say, oh my gosh, are you open to starting a business? No, I'm just listening. I'm taking mental notes, right? He told me that he didn't love what he did, that it's just a job. Okay, now I want to get into his psyche even more. So, Isaac, tell me about what you like about your job. Oh, you know what? I love interacting with people. I like working with people. I like that it's different every day. I like that my schedule changes. So as I'm listening to this, I'm figuring out what this person likes. And why is that important? Because I'm gonna let you into the clue here, right? Is based on his likes, I need to listen to that because when I position difference, if it's going to be a fit, I need to make sure that those likes that he got at his current place, he's going to be able to find those likes here as well. So if he likes working with people, if he likes the fact that he can, that his schedule changes and that it's not boring, then I need to make sure that when I talk about what difference is good at, I would say something like, what I like about difference here, Isaac, is that all the people that we work with and that you can interact with, and the fact that you can create your own schedule and that it's different every week. I'm speaking to his worldview because in his mind, he's going to be like, oh, well, that's what I like already. Huh, okay. Are you guys getting this, right? It's psychology, guys, right? You got to understand who you're sitting with. So I'm going to make sure that I position that. So that's why you have to find out, what do they like? Now, the other thing, very important question. Now, Isaac, tell me what you dislike that you'd like to change. You know what? They don't pay me enough money. A lot of office politics. I kind of get screwed over. A lot of gossip. People talk behind my back. Blah blah blah. Right? You guys have heard the gamut of different things. I mean, just think about the things that you don't like about your current job right now. Right? Maybe some of those things apply. Office politics, lack of growth, lack of promotion. You're working 60 hours a week for a paycheck you feel you should be getting more. People will start telling you all of these things. And so again, with those dislikes, the reason I'm going to listen to that very intently is because when I position difference, I'm going to tell him how the opposite of his dislikes he's going to experience here. So for example, you know what I love about difference, Isaac, is how there's no politics here, man. We all support each other here. And there's no ceiling. You can make as much money as you want to make, right? And you don't have to go work 60 hours a week if you don't want to. Like people, that's going to be music to his ears because, oh my God, that's what I don't like about where I'm at. And you're telling me what I don't like, I could experience here. This is very important, what I'm sharing with you guys. And so these questions are very, very, elaborate in getting in the world of your people, because I always want to make sure you have to understand what makes your prospect tick. That's just a kind and generous thing to do anyway. You know, they, you guys know who Dr. Brene Brown is, who I highly recommend. You look at her work, you read her books, Dare to Lead, The Power of Vulnerability. And she talks about that when you're understood, it's like oxygen to your soul, man. And that's what we do for people, guys, because when people feel like they're being listened to and they're being understood, it is literally oxygen to their soul. And that's where you captivate, that's where you lock, right? That's where people know, like, wow, this person gets me, this person's listening to me, I appreciate that. And then from there, you're going to start building the rapport, and you'll start to see the shift. They go from skeptic to now you're interacting like two human beings, or you're just having a great conversation. Okay, next thing here is, are they paying you enough money to achieve all the goals that you have for your family? That's a very viable question, guys. Don't feel threatened by that. You're not asking how much money they make. You're just asking, Isaac, does FedEx pay you enough money to achieve all the goals that you have for your family? And I'm going to stay quiet. And he's going to say yay or nay. And of course he was like, no, they don't. He said it, but I put it in the form of a question. Never, ever, ever assume that they don't make enough money. If it comes from you, it's going to be taken as very defensive. For example, if I were to say, wow, Isaac, so I heard about FedEx, so I guess it'd be safe to assume that they don't pay you enough money to achieve your goals for your family there, huh? Even though that may be true, he might be like, yeah, but I don't like the fact that it's coming from you. But if I put it in the form of a question and he answers it, then he says it, so he owns it. If I say it, he might defend it, but if he says it, he owns it. You guys get that? So if I said, Isaac, do they pay you enough to achieve all the goals that you have for your family? Oh, no, not at all. Well, he said it, so he owns it. I just asked the question. It's very important that sales is all about fact finding through questions, right? You want to be asking questions. If you're doing too much talking, you're doing it wrong, especially in the beginning. Get your prospect talking. Ask questions. So when he answers that and he says, no, they don't pay me enough money, that says a lot. Okay. And again, I'm just listening, taking mental cues, right? And the next thing I'm going to ask him, Isaac, so what's the most important thing in your life, man? It's a very deep question. And sometimes it does throw people off, like, whoa, it's an interesting question. Never thought about that. But based on what they tell you, right? And if they're like, man, I don't really know, you can give them an example. I mean, is it your family, health? Is it your home, education? And maybe you want cars. Does it leave a legacy? Is it traveling? Do you have some hobbies that you're really passionate about? A lot of people are obviously going to say is their family, right? Especially if they're married or have children. That's their primary motivator. Some people will tell you it's their career at this point, just kind of getting established. Whatever it is, I want to know, because that is the predominant value that is leading their current life at this point in time. I need to know that, because based on what they answer is I have to speak to that priority. I have to customize my presentation to that priority worldview, right? So for example, if he was like, you know what, Carlo, honestly, it's all about the Benjamins right now, bro. I need to make money. And even though that might not be my personal value per se, I still need to speak difference to his value system, not just mine. Does that make sense? And what if you're single? If you're the presenter and you're single, no kids, and you meet someone that is married and has 3 children, you can't relate because you don't have a family, but the most important thing in their world is their family, and everything they do is for their children. Well, you need to be able to present this in a way that is compelling enough for them to see how we help families and how it can benefit his family. It's very important. These are why these questions, they're not just some random about questions. These questions are extremely psychological in nature in order to understand. Next question here. Isaac, what are some important goals and dreams that you have that cost money? You know, and sometimes they're quiet. I'm like, I don't know. I guess my point is, say, I mean, do you want to buy a house here in San Diego? Do you want to travel? You know, do you have a dream car? Right? Do you want to put your kids through the best schools, private schools? What's really driving you right now financially, man? I really want to understand that. And I'm not going to let that slide very easily. I want people to be, you know, sometimes they'll say, oh, you know, I'd like a house. I'm like, okay, man, you got to go a little deeper with me, Isaac. What do you mean a house? You want to live in a house in La Jolla overlooking the ocean? You know, let's dream a little bit here. You know, if money was not an issue, where would you be living at, man? You're like, oh, bro, well, if money's not an issue, I'd be living in, you know, La Jolla overlooking the ocean. Like where? What part of La Jolla? I want to get in their world because I want I want to know what people's dreams are. And you have to, as a presenter, you have to create a space where people can be okay about their dreams. And sometimes they'll say things like for real, like no, like if money was not an issue, oh man, I'd be driving an Aston Martin, you know, I'd be traveling to South America, Europe. Oh, awesome. Where would you go in South America? Like, I want to get in their dreams because these are the things that people, they probably haven't talked to with anybody. Sometimes I've been in these types of appointments with married couples, and I hear the wife or the husband and the spouse will be like, I never knew that. Like, well, you never asked, you know? And I'm like, whoa, there's some communication things going on here. But you understand that everybody has dreams, guys. And I want to create the space where people can talk openly about those dreams. Because I want to know this is what this person really wants. This is the juicy part of life that they probably keep to themselves a lot that you want to understand. So if they tell me, man, I want to buy a house, I want to drive this car, I want to travel here, I want to be able to put my kids there, I want to be at home and take my kids to little league practice. Like these are things that are very important to them that they really wish they could accomplish. Right? And notice how this next question here is bringing them down to reality. So Isaac, when will your current job at FedEx pay you the income that you need to realize those dreams that you told me of living in La Jolla, you know, traveling, driving an Aston Martin, blah, blah, blah. Even though I know the answer to that, I still am going to ask it because remember, if he says it, he owns it. So if he were to say to me, you know what, come on, man, that's never going to happen where I'm at. He said it. If I were to say, if I were to just to assume it, and assumption is the mother of all F-ups, right? As we've heard that saying, I'm not going to assume it. I need to still ask it, even though I know the answer, because I need him to answer it. Because if he says it, he owns it. So if he says, you know what, that's never going to happen where I'm at. He said it. I can't assume it. I can't say, well, you know, Isaac, based on what you're saying, it's safe to say that FedEx would never put you in an opportunity to accomplish those goals. Even though that's true, he can be defensive about that. He can be like, yeah, but I guess it sucks to hear from somebody else. But remember, if he says it, he owns it. I hope this is making sense. And this is where I now position this as an opportunity. So Isaac, let me ask you a straight up question, man. If your job or profession won't allow you to realize this dream life that you just shared with me, what's more important to you, man? Staying in your job or actually living your ideal life? And again, he's going to answer that. And whatever he answers is what he answers. You know, and if he's like, oh man, living my ideal life, great. Well, if I can show you a legitimate and viable way to earn, you know, a dream income when you take advantage of it, yeah, I keep my options open. Great. Now, most associates drop the ball on this. Is your own story. Well, Isaac, let me tell you about why I decided to get involved with Difference Financial. Let me tell you about me and why I'm here. You have to share your 2-minute story. And when you share your 2-minute story, make sure that you're highlighting their values, their likes and dislikes, because that's what creates relatability. So example, even though my situation might be different, I can say, you know, Isaac, let me tell you about me and why I'm here. So I've been doing this 14 years. My background is military. I was in the Marine Corps. And You know, like you, I love the military, taught me a lot of great things. I got to travel, you know, but once I started having a family, you know, being away from home wasn't as fun as it used to be. And I've always wanted to do something where I can control my time and control my income. And the reason I'm here is because, like you, I was tired of politics. I wanted to have control of my time. I didn't want something that had a ceiling. You know, I wanted to be able to go out there and make a great income and still have the time freedom to go out there and invest time with the people that I love. And difference has allowed me to do that. And if it hasn't allowed you to do that, because some of your brand new say difference is giving me an opportunity to achieve that. Does that make sense? So tell people where you're going, or you can talk about other people's stories in the company. But you make sure that you share why you're here. You know what? Like you, Isaac, I wanted to be, you know, I want to have, there's goals and dreams that I want to achieve. I have a family. I want to travel. And difference is putting them in a position to do that. And now you have that relatability. Man, like if you do this right, and those of you that know, and you know, when you do this trust, respect, customize form right, it does, you will feel the difference. You can feel a difference even in the energy when you're sitting next to this person. This person went from cold, you know, prospect to now there is this, you can feel the connection that you guys now have because you did this the right way. And now you're providing solutions. Now you can be like, okay, in your mind, you're like, I know exactly how I'm going to do this with this person, what I'm going to share them, what I'm going to highlight. And the other side of it too is if they're like, if the flip side of the coin could exist as well, if he's like, you know what, I love my job, I love my career, it's the best career I ever had, I just got promoted, there's a lot of room at the top, this is what I've been working for towards my life, you know, then that's it. Am I going to try to bring this person on board? No, I'm not even going to bring up the business. Why would I try to bring somebody on board to something that they're already happy doing? You're just going to make yourself look stupid. Don't do that. Remember, you know, it's always a solution to a problem, but also don't assume because someone's making good money that they're fulfilled. I have brought on people on board that are making good money, but they do not like how their time is being taken from them. And so if they can make the same money and have more time, they would be open to it. So I hope this is a value, right? And obviously we're going to go into the presentation now. Okay. But now you should know enough. The reason I'm really harping on this is because it's the most important rapport building tool that we have. Not everybody that joins our business is like, man, Carlo, I'm super good with people. I know how to get into people's world so easily. No, I wasn't like that. And I know many of you are not like that. So the reason we have this tool here, and this is exactly that, a tool, it allows you to open up your prospect in conversation, and you use your listening skills to be able to fill gaps that are missing in this person's life. Does this make sense? All right. I'm assuming you guys are with me here. So, okay, cool. So that is number one, the trust, respect, customize, right? So now that I covered that, then I'm going to say, okay, Isaac, thank you for sharing all that. I now know how I'm going to present this. Okay. So I'm going to do this here just like this. You can do this on a piece of paper, or once you get high speed like we are here online, we'll cover the tools at the 14th event of what you need to be able to do what I'm doing here. We also have a PowerPoint slide for this as well. Okay, so if you ever want to show a PowerPoint of the 98%, 2%, we call it the napkin presentation, but I prefer to write it out. I just think it's better. So I'm saying, Isaac, let me show you who we are and what we do, right? So Isaac, 98% of people make under 250,000 a year. And you guys should be writing this down too, by the way. I'm just getting a sip of coffee. So 90% of people make under 250,000 a year. Now, question one that you want to ask is this: get your prospect engaged, right? So you engage people through questions. So Isaac, let me ask you a question. Where do most people save money at if they do save? I'm talking just the majority. And I get a variety of answers. Sometimes people say their 401k. Some people say they don't save. But most people often get it right. They say, yeah, people put money in, I don't know, their bank. Exactly. People put money in the banks. So make sure you ask that question. Get your prospect engaged. Isaac, where do most people save money at? Think about the 90% that make under 250,000 a year. And I'm looking for banks, okay? I say, that's right, Isaac, banks, right? Now in banks, you have types of accounts. You have checking accounts, which pay you no interest. You have savings accounts, which pay you about 0.02% in a savings. Sometimes it's like 0.02% to 0.09 right now. I write down 0.02%. You have money market accounts, CDs, and I ask them this: have you ever heard of a money market or CD? And most people have not. You know, and if they heard, I say, great. So those accounts, you're lucky right now if you're getting close to 1%, but you have to lock up your money for a period of time. Now, Isaac, here's the next question. Write this question down, guys. Now, Isaac, is the cost of living going up or down? Is the cost of living going up or down? And without fail, most people, especially if you're in San Diego, will tell you it's going up. And it is. So the cost of living is like close to 4%. We call that inflation. And so if people are putting money in a savings account earning 0.02% in a savings, it becomes very simple math, guys. People's money is being devalued. Negative 3.98%, meaning that our money is losing buying power. That's exactly what inflation means, right? Our money is losing buying power. Almost 4 cents on the dollar there by just using traditional banking. So then I'm going to flip the coin and say, now let me show you what the top 2% are doing. The top 2% are making $250,000 or more per year. Now, Isaac, where do these people put their money at? And I want to find out what, you know, I just want to kind of get in his world, and I want to know what he thinks about all this. So some people will say investments, you know, I'll say these people put their money with investment banks, right? Investment banks, different from commercial banks. Investment banks are, you've heard of companies like Merrill Lynch or Morgan Stanley or Charles Schwab or Edward Jones, Smith Barney, Goldman Sachs. I mean, there's a lot of these types of companies out there. I'm not going to write a bunch, just a handful of them. And I say what these people do is they put their money in such as stocks. And make sure you mute yourself, guys. Somebody's unmuted. Thank you. All right. So people put their money in stocks, bonds, mutual funds. A lot of people put money in mutual funds, right? Real estate. And over here, what these types of investments will do over time is anywhere between 6 and 12% interest year after year. Sometimes they'll do better than 12, sometimes it'll be less, right? We don't know. It's all dependent on markets. However, notice how the average is above inflation. So my point is, let's say you had a good year earning 12%, which is a phenomenal performance. Does the cost of living still affect this side? The answer is absolutely yes. We all live here. But if I'm taking 12 steps forward and 4 steps back, even after inflation, I'm still earning 8%. So I'm earning 8 cents on the dollar versus losing 4 cents on the dollar. So Isaac, this is why rich are getting richer right now and the poor are getting poorer. And so what we do here, right, at Difference Financial, what we do here is we help everybody. I circle it just like that. But we want to focus on where the help is most needed. And so what we do is we show people on this side how to get to that side. And we do it by focusing on education. And I write it down just like that. And then my question here is this: Do you see the value in this, Isaac? And of course he says, yeah. Do you see how many people can benefit from this type of education? Yeah, right? So I'm asking questions here to get yes responses, right? So these are called questions that demand a yes answer are what we call tie downs. You guys want to get technical in terms of sales psychology. A tie down is any question that you ask that must be a yes answer. Okay. So here's an example of a tie down. Isaac, does it make sense to learn how to earn more interest than inflation? Yes. Isaac, do you see the value of teaching people how to get from here to there? Yes. Right. Isaac, do you think financial education is important? Yes. Those are tie downs. Now, a tie down, let me look at you guys here. A tie down is a question that demands a yes response. In sales, when you are doing good tie downs, you start to hook the mind. It becomes, right, hypnotic in nature. If I'm in a rhythm of telling you yes, 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 over a 30, 45-minute presentation, and my final question is, Isaac, would you like to do business with us? Yes, right? I mean, you got me saying yes the whole time. Like, well, why would it be different? But some of you, if you're not aware of this, you have to be consciously aware of this. And some of you, you don't ask questions and you just talk at your prospect for 45 minutes. And you do hypey things like, oh my gosh, you know what I love about difference is this and this and this. It's so amazing. I love it. It's just too hypey. You're speaking from your own experience, which is valuable, but that doesn't mean just because you feel that way, don't think they're gonna feel that way. I have to recruit their mind into my frame of thinking. And the way I do that is through synchronicity of getting those yes responses. Right. And so I would take the time, here's what I would do if I were you guys is I would practice that napkin presentation and I would be like, what questions could I repetitiously practice that are those types of tie down questions? Isaac, does it make sense to earn more interest than 4%? Yes. Isaac, do you think financial education is important? Yes. Okay, I want to get those down because when I'm presenting to my prospect, I want to be able to ask those questions like repetitiously, rhythmically, subconsciously, like I do it without even practice, like driving a car. It just comes out of me. In the beginning, you're going to have to be a little bit more conscious of it because you don't have this down yet. But you notice how if you ask questions that demand yes responses, you start developing this rhythm with your prospect. Yes, 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 yes. Would you buy something from me? Of course. Yes. Right. And that builds your confidence every minute of the presentation because you're like, man, this person has been saying yes. You're thinking to yourself, wow, they're picking up what I'm dropping. They're smelling what I'm stepping in, and you're going to be nervous and actually be a little bit more anxious when you are talking to your prospect and not asking questions because you don't know if they're feeling you or not. Like, I don't know if they're feeling me or not. So the way to take a pulse, right? It's kind of like you go on a date. If I'm going on a date with a girl and it's my first date and I really want to make an impression, I really like her and we're at a restaurant, I'll be like, hey, so what do you think of the food here? Oh, I love it. It's great. Like, hey, this is pretty fun. You guys, are you having fun? Yeah, those are tie downs, guys. That's building my confidence in this date that there might be a second date. Right. But if I need to tie down is like, let me take a pulse real quick. Let me find out where this person's at. Right. Because if they have a stoic face, you know how some people have stoic faces? So they're just like, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if they're feeling this. The way for me to take a pulse is I have to ask a question. Right. And so I'm like, so do you see the value in this education? And if they say, not really. Oh, okay, let's stop presentation right there. Elaborate on that, please, prospect. Why don't you see the value in this as education? I want to now understand why you think it's not valuable to have financial education. And it might be something that they misunderstood, right? Or they may have a totally different worldview, and I need to know that before I move forward, so I know who I'm talking to and I am understanding them, right? Versus me wait 45 minutes into just a spiel that they don't need. I hope this is valuable, guys. Is this making sense? Okay, cool. So those are what tie downs are. And that is what I call the napkin presentation. And your napkin presentation should end with that. We help people go from here to here through education. Do you see the value in that? Yes. Awesome. Great. Okay, so for sake of time, I'm going to go back up to here when I said when I don't have a lot of time and maybe I have 10 minutes, I'm going to show this napkin presentation. And this is how I close it. I've done this in 5 to 7 minutes, right? So let's say Isaac didn't have the 45 minutes to give me for me to show him all these steps. He just had 5 minutes. And if Isaac were to come to me and be like, you know what, bro, I apologize. Something came up. I literally only have 10 minutes. Can we still do something? Can you still show me? Sure. I'm going to show him this napkin presentation. So let me show you, man. Really quick, what I do is 90% of people, blah, blah. I'm going to go through this whole thing that I just did with you guys. And my closing is this. I'll say, Isaac, so I know we only had 10 minutes, man. So basically, I guess what we could do here is I show people how to go from here to here over the next 10 to 30 years, depending on their timeline, as a client on a complimentary basis. Or, and we could put also and, right? Or we show people how to go from here to here over the next 5 to 7 years by teaching them entrepreneurship and how to start their own company in the financial services industry. So Isaac, I know we didn't have a lot of time. I didn't get a chance to share a lot with you, but I guess for the sake of time, what interests you more, man? Would you be interested in how to move yourself from here to here over the next 10 to 30 years, learning financial principles that you could apply as a client? And we do that complimentary. Or are you at a point in your life where you'd like to learn how to make more money and maybe even start your own business, and we can help you move from the 90% to that 2% in the next 5 or 7 years? So which one interests you more? Client side, the business side, or both? And I'm going to stay quiet. And I'll get people that say, you know what, I'm interested in both, to be honest with you, but I want to learn more. No worries, man. We'll talk about that when we get together. Matter of fact, let's schedule that real quick, right? What works better for you, Wednesday or Thursday? Oh, I want to learn more about the client side. Perfect, man. I know what to emphasize next time. Oh, man, I actually want to learn more about the business. Perfect. Right. So I know you're going to have a lot of questions. This is very general, Isaac. I just wanted, for the sake of time that we had, I just wanted to do something so you understand the big picture of what we're trying to do here. Does that make sense to you guys? So let me repeat that close, because this right here is everything, right? You know how in online marketing, online marketers, when you get like some sort of ad that goes to your email or you see it on Facebook, everything is about having a call. I want to write this down. A call to action. Everything that you do must have a call to action. Like, there's got to be something that gets someone to act. Like, what are you asking me that's going to make me move forward? And you have to have a closing question. And that closing question, that call to ask is, you know what, Isaac, I can help you go from here to here over the next 10 to 30 years as a client, or I can show you how to go from here to here over the next 5 to 7 years as an entrepreneur, teaching you how to make more money and making money work for you. Which one interests you more, man? The client side, the business side, or both? Oh man, I'm both, to be honest with you. Perfect, man. That's cool. That's all I need to know. I can show you more. Why don't you give me your information, or why don't we schedule another date to get together? What works for you? I know you got to go, and I schedule that time. I don't leave that appointment without scheduling that follow-up appointment. And I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people do too, is that you think, you know what? Well, we'll get in touch with each other next week and we'll schedule something. You don't go to your doctor's office and leave without setting up that follow-up appointment. Right. So if you take your business as seriously, then you got to understand that your time is valuable as well as theirs. So you have to schedule. Is that helpful? Right. So what I just shared with you right there was that quick 10-minute presentation. So I cover with you the napkin presentation, right, which I'm going to show you in the long version, but I also showed you how you can do this in 10 minutes and also get that quick close. So if you find yourself running out of time, if you find yourself things getting cut short, you're like, oh man, I didn't get to show this person everything. You can go right to this and get that close, right? It's logical and a macro view enough for them to get a bigger picture. It's not specific. We don't need to be specific at this point because we don't know what we don't know about this person yet. But it's enough for them to know what you do. And hopefully you brought a good vibe for them to be like, okay, remember the purpose of the first appointment is for what? Just to get a second appointment. It's not to recruit them. It's not to sell them. It's not to sell them life insurance, not to roll over the 401k. It's just to get a second appointment. That's it. And that's successful. The more second appointments you have, the more business you're going to do. I promise you. So I want to make sure you guys are understanding this. So in keeping now with the presentation, we're going to assume that we're doing the long version. So I already covered the trust, respect, customize. I already did the napkin presentation, right? Now what I'm going to cover here is the strategy and psychology, which is one of my favorites. I've added this over the years. It's always been work for me because I think people need to understand like what it is that we do. It's still general, but it's still pretty valuable. So number one, I say, here's the two areas that we focus on when it comes to finances. Number one is strategy. Write that down, circle it just like that. So by strategy, we mean we want to teach people financial concepts such as how taxes work. Most people, Isaac, do not understand how taxes work. Would you agree with that? Sounds like a tie down, right? Yes, I would. Okay. So for example, and here's a powerful question, right? Let me say it slowly because you guys have heard me ask this question. Isaac, right? If you could pay less in taxes to the government and keep more money for you and your family and it was legal, would you do it? What do you think everybody says to that? Duh, yeah, of course. Isaac, if you could save more in taxes and keep more money for you and your family and pay less to the government, would you do it? Yes, I would. Great. We show you how to do that. So notice how I'm using these little things to inflect, to put my value in. Like, dude, you need me, bro. Right? You need to know what I have in my mind. Does that make sense? Right? It's no different from being on a date, on a first date. And if I can do a, you know, it's a tie down, say, man, you know what? I know this great restaurant that's in Encinitas. You know, if you want, on the next time we get together, I can take you there. Would you be open to that? Yes. I just closed the second date. Right? So you got to know how to ask the questions, guys, right? Questions hook the mind. The best presenters are not necessarily the best with verbiage. They're just really great question askers. That's the best people that crush it in sales. I don't care what you do. The person that sold my minivan to my wife was phenomenal in sales. And I'm very leery of car salespeople, right? Because they're just such hard closers. But when I walked in and I was like, you know, I already had my posture up, like, you know, I got this, babe, you know, watch out, they're gonna try the hook. All he said to me was like, how can I help you today? I was like, well, we're looking for a few vehicles. Okay, great. Well, before I show you, what's your budget? What kind of payment are you looking for? You know, what are your needs, right? And he really got into our world and just asked all these questions. I was like, look, we want to pay this. Here's our limit. Here's what we're doing. Okay, great. Now let me go into my inventory and see what best suits you. I was like, that's a salesperson. And he closed the sale. We bought that day and we didn't plan on buying that day. But since he took the time to qualify, he did that in a way that was kind and generous, but in his world, I'm pre-qualifying these people. I don't want to waste my time. I want to know if they're serious. So he did that through asking questions. You should always be pre-qualifying your people through asking questions too, right? That way you know you're not wasting your time and people appreciate that. Okay, so Isaac, so if I can show you how to pay less in taxes and keep more money for you and your family, would you want to know how to do that? Yes, great. Okay, moving on. We're going to teach people how to read numbers here, Isaac. Right? Remember I was covering those interest rates. We want to teach people how to read interest rates. If you could read numbers better, Would that make a difference for you? Yes, it would. Yeah. So we teach people how to read those interest rates. And sometimes I will go back and I'll reflect back on the napkin presentation that they just saw, right? I'll kind of show them, because if people knew interest rates, they would be questioning this stuff all day long. But they don't, because nobody knows what they don't know, right? So it's important that we teach people these things. So we're going to talk about that interest rate. We're going to teach people about investments. So I just write that. For example, Isaac, there's people that are graduating with a master's degree from college right now and don't know the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. And I know some of you are probably on this call like, dude, I don't even know the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. I'm still brand new, right? We'll get into that later, guys, right? It's just a tax thing, right? One is that a Roth IRA is tax-free in retirement. A 401k, you have to pay taxes in retirement. But it's very important. I say, Isaac, there's people graduating college with a master's degree that don't know the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. And that's very important, Isaac. And I emphasize that. People need to know that. We want to teach that. We also want to teach the art of passive income because it is now such a great time to learn about passive income. And passive income, Isaac, is basically making money when you're sleeping, making money that you don't have to trade time for. We show people how to do that. Would you want to know how to do that? Yeah. So we teach people how to do that here. That's the strategy we teach. And all of this, what we're probably passionate about teaching is all under capitalism. So at Difference, I'm basically understanding and learning capitalism, which is free enterprise system, guys, right? And for those of you that are really like interested in all these things, and I'm going to just pivot here for a second. There's a few books that I push, right, in terms of understanding business. Obviously, if you have not read Rich Dad, Poor Dad yet by Robert Kiyosaki, you need to read that book. Okay, it is such a valuable book. Everyone needs to read that book. There's another book by him called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And I'm pushing these books on you guys because if you don't like reading his money, you're selling ideas. And people, the way you sell ideas is through your mind, through your psychology. And you need to be as educated as possible because reading these books made me more articulate when I talk to clients. I read these books and I was like, oh my gosh, I never knew that. And guess what? Your prospects are not going to know it either. But when you can present it and educate people, you're going to come across as like, dude, I need this person in my life because they know stuff that I don't know. And I need people like this that I want to learn from. This is why I read, right? And then number 3, a great book called Conscious Capitalism, right? It's a phenomenal book, right? We all want to be more conscious. Conscious is we just want to be more aware, more awareness about the inner workings of money. And this book is phenomenal, right? In understanding capitalism. I would get these books for your library and that one day your children would read them as well. Okay. But that's what I say. We teach capitalism, Isaac. We teach people the value of the free enterprise system, how money works, how business works. Right? Pretty cool. Okay, cool, Isaac. Now moving on. Number 2 is we're going to teach psychology. And by psychology, mostly psychology of money. And I circle it. And what do I mean by that? I want to know the habits that somebody has. And we're going to also investigate the core beliefs. And I always share a personal story here. And you might share your own personal story. So for example, I share my story of, you guys have heard me say that when I do this part of the presentation, like, so for example, Isaac, I grew up in a household where I heard the term, we can't afford it. I mean, I heard that saying a million times before I moved out of the house, can't afford it. Mom, can we get some Jordans? Can't afford it. Mom, can we go to Disney? Can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. And when I became in my 20s and became my own man, I would also tell people, my friends, that, Carlo, we're going to Vegas this weekend. I'm like, dude, I can't afford it. And I had a friend that was always said to me, Carlo, why do you always say that? And I didn't know that I didn't know that I was always saying that, because it was a subconscious program. It was like a paradigm view that I had inherited from my family. And why do we talk about psychology a lot? Let me look at you guys, because this is the absolute truth. It is everything. Why we talk so much about the psychology of money is because I can teach you everything about this industry. You ever notice, have you ever meet people that, man, they know a lot about money, real estate, stock market. They're very smart, but it doesn't show up in their results. So how could you be so smart intellectually, but get results as if you're so stupid? And that always has puzzled me, right? You know, and it's something I was like, why is this person know so much about this? Why doesn't it, man, I know everything about eating right and healthy habits and this and that. Then why are you overweight? I don't get that. What? And what it is, it's not that this person is a bad person. It's a program, guys. It's subconscious. It's a paradigm. We don't know what we don't know. And so just teaching people about money and how money works is not enough. Because for you guys, and this is where I need you to challenge yourself, is you also have a paradigm too. And that may be the very thing that is keeping you from your own evolution as well. I used to think that people that made a lot of money were shady. Now, I didn't know that that was a belief of mine until I investigated it. So if I really believe that people that money were shady, then guess what? I can never become wealthy because I don't want to be seen as shady. That was a core belief that I had and I struggled with. It took me years for me to be like, you know what? I'm a good person and good people make good money. I had to repeat that to myself. Can't tell you how many times in order for that to become a new core belief of mine. Some of you may struggle with that. And it's okay. That's why you're here. This is why you're in a difference, because we're going to learn about this, right? This is eye-opening, right? I was like, damn, this shit is deep, right? But this is the truth, right? You know, this is where we're at. We want to, a lot of stuff is going to come to the surface for you. And this is where I'm transparent with you guys. I'm kind of going off the presentation here, but for you guys as agents, as advisors, this is why you're here. You know, I want you guys to grow. I don't want you to go through as long as I got through in order to challenge these things. It took me a few years for me to realize that this was even an issue. This is why I always lead with this. Somebody who just came on. Make sure you mute yourself, guys. I don't know who that is. Can't mute that person. Hold on. Whoever that is, guys, make sure you mute yourself. That's Emmanuel Lopez. Manny. There we go. Okay. So is stuff making sense, guys? You know, and I'm not going to go that elaborate with the prospect. So going back to this, I just want you guys to understand, why do we show this? Because it's super valuable, you know, and we want to challenge that. And people don't know what they don't know. This is where I get a lot of positive feedback from prospects, like, whoa, yeah, that's deep, man. Like, I can see how I'm affected by that. Yeah, we're going to challenge that here. Okay. So you don't have to go in so much detail. I just wanted you guys to understand that, why we share this, right? So why I share strategy and psychology. So let me go back to this here. We've already covered 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to go into cover 4, right? So once I've shared strategy and psychology, now I'm going to go over the 6 steps. And this is the logical part of what we do. Okay, oops, let me back up here. And for sake of time, I'm just going to go through these, right, fairly quickly, because you can. You don't have to. You don't have to divulge so much. But what I tell Isaac, so here's what we do. Here's how we help people. Because what if I'm prospecting Isaac as someone that potentially wants to do this as a business, I need to show him, here's how we monetize the business. This is the logical aspect of what we do. No more opinions, no more emotions, no more doodling, right? This is what it is that we do. Okay. Number one, Isaac, is we offer proper protection. You know, and so Isaac, how do you feel about life insurance? What do you understand about life insurance? And we'll have a conversation about that. Oh, I heard this. Well, it's like if you die, it's like what your family gets, right? Yeah, right. But Isaac, did you know that if somebody has, let's say, a $500,000 or $1 million life insurance policy and they were to die, that money goes 100% tax-free to their beneficiaries? Most people do not understand the tax-free portion of that. All life insurance pays out tax-free. So make sure you educate your prospect about that. Isaac, have you ever heard of living benefits life insurance? No. What is that? It's basically, now we offer policies that you don't have to die to use. So if you ever had a heart attack, stroke, cancer, terminal illness, a really bad car accident that left you shook, I mean, you're not going back to work anytime soon, but if you didn't die, do you still have to pay your mortgage on the first? Yeah. So now we have policies that you can pull money out without having to die, dude. And so that's what I say, because sometimes, well, a prospect will say to me, like an Isaac prospect will say, well, I'm good there, man. I already have life insurance through work, or I already have a policy. I'll say, great. Does it have living benefits? No, what's that? And then I explain it. Well, if you're at heart attack, it's life insurance you don't have to die to use. So Isaac, I'm not trying to tell you that you need to change. What I'm trying to tell you is, are you open to, let's say, for the same amount you're paying now, what if we can get you something that has a little bit more bells and whistles that protect your bottom line better? Would you be open to at least exploring that if it's the same amount you're paying now? Yeah, great. That's it, right? I'm not going for the hard kill. I just want to know, are they open to exploration? Number two, Isaac, is we help people increase cash flow. And what that means is manage expenses. We want to know what's coming into the cent, what's coming out. So we do a comprehensive budget. And the rule of thumb there is everyone should pay themselves at least 10%. Now, when I meet with faith-based people that go to church, and their faith is their predominant value of their life, they're tithers. At least they want to be tithers. And a tither is someone that gives 10% of their monthly income to their church. It's a very important thing to them. Okay. So I also bring it up. Like, for example, like you guys are faith-based, right? So you give 10% to your church, but guess what? You should also give 10% to yourself. And people get that logic. We're like, wow, because nobody wants for you more than you want for you. And so a rule of thumb for us is pay yourself first. Don't pay yourself last, which most people do. Pay yourself first. So an example, Isaac, is I meet with, Mary and Bob Smith, and they make $5,000 a month. What we're going to do with step two is 10% of that 5,000 is $500. We're going to extract that $500, and they should be able to make do with 4,500. If they cannot, they are living above their means. So we have to talk about that. They may need to earn additional income, which we'll talk about that. But that 10%, we're going to look at, well, what are you going to do with that 10% once we give it to you, Carlo? We're going to look at areas 3 through 6. So let's go over that. We're going to help you. Number 3 is let's establish strong credit. Let's help you eliminate debt. We can help you with student loan debt. We can help you with credit card debt. We can also help you even repair your credit. And by repairing credit, that means if you, and this is a true story, Natalie and I, we just helped a client who wanted to refinance her house. She had a 672, which is not a terrible payment, or terrible credit score, but she wanted better. There was things on her credit report that she felt shouldn't be there anymore. So within a matter of 3 weeks, guys, we took her from a 672 to an 821 credit score. It's pretty profound to do that in 3 weeks, by the way. You can offer that service, guys, right? You can help people with their student loan debt. Gail introduced me to this gentleman, Larry Morrison, who can help with student loan debt. I know Isaac works with them. One of our gals, her name is Leanne. If you have someone that struggles with student loan debt, we can help them. We have those outside resources, right? Credit card debt. We do snowball avalanche method, which I'm not going to get into here, but we can help people become debt free through strategies that you can teach, right? So, if people are borderline bankruptcy, we can help them. We have debt settlement companies that we can work with. So there is a lot of things that we can do in the debt space. I don't want you guys to think just because you have a life license, you just got to push insurance. You're not just a life agent, guys. We're just selling life insurance. There's more to what you bring to the table. So I tell people that with step 3, look, if there's debt, we can help you get out of debt. And the average household has about $15,000 to $20,000 of credit card debt. This is a true story. So we want to help you there, right? Number 4 is we want to create a reserve fund, save at least 3 months of income. So Isaac, if I'm sitting with Bob and Mary Smith and they make $5,000, we want to set a goal to have at least $15,000, 3 months in a liquid savings account that they can access in just the event of, because what do most people use for emergencies? Credit cards. Well, now they can use a reserve fund at 0% interest, so they don't have to pay it back. That's what it's there for. So we're going to put some of that $500 towards that. If they have children, Isaac, we're going to do step 5, college. Now, here's what we do for college. Early stage college planning. This is best for people that have children or grandchildren under the age of 5. We can start college funds for as little as $25 to $50 per child, if that's a desire for a family member. And especially grandparents love stuff like that. We also do late stage college planning for people who have a high schooler who just got accepted to USC, and parents are like, oh my God, how the heck are we going to pay for this? Right? We can do that as well. We can help with college applications, scholarships, grants, the FAFSA forms. We do all of that stuff. That's an outside service, but we can offer that benefit to them if they wish to take advantage of it. And that's very important to very many families right now. We can offer that, guys, right? You can offer that. And then step 6 is, last but not least, is where we specialize the most. And that's how you should say it. Step 6 is where we specialize the most, which is asset growth and preservation. Is we help increase long-term wealth and we minimize taxation. So basically what we want to do, Isaac, is we show people how we want their money to grow tax-free, but unlike a 401k, we want your money to come out 100% tax-free. We want to protect the gains. So Isaac, what that means is we want you to earn interest in a good market, but if the market should crash, your money's protected. You will never lose a dime of your money. And then when you retire, Isaac, we want you to not only have tax-free money, your money has been protected, so you never lost a penny, but we want you to get a lifetime income. That means a monthly paycheck every month for the rest of your life. And if we do it right, it's 100% tax-free. And the cool thing about this, Isaac, is we do all of this 100% complimentary to our clients. So the obvious question is, how are we compensated? If we're doing this free, come on, man, how are we making money? What's the catch, right? Because that's exactly what they're thinking. So I say it before they do. I take the objection away before it comes up, because that's exactly what they're thinking too. Like, come on, man, how are you making money, dude? I know you ain't doing this for charity. That's a great question. So our company's name is Difference Financial, but Isaac, we work with many different companies in the marketplace, so we're not limited. We represent you. Most of these companies are very powerful companies in the retirement and insurance arena. $1 million companies, some of these are $1 billion companies. And so we represent you, figure out what your needs are, and then we go out there and find the best company that meets your needs, and that company will compensate us for bringing them a client. And that's when most people go, oh, okay, wow. And it's true, guys. That's exactly how we do it. They're still paying life insurance premiums to that company, right? They still have their internal fees, which we'll cover that when we go over whatever product recommendation, right? But they're not having to write you a check for $500 or $1,000 per hour for you to have gone through all of this education and put in that 6-step plan. That's really valuable, guys. And that's where I see my value is I value my time as an advisor, because I want to be with serious people who are serious about making financial changes. If they're not serious, you'll know in the first appointment that they don't really care. or they're not just really serious about that. But that's why it's important that they know that you're not charging them anything. And so my client closed. So once I say, that's, you see the value in that, Isaac? Yeah. And I go back to this. And if Isaac was just if I was just closing Isaac as a client, this is where my close is. And this is important. Drum roll, right? This is how I'm going to show you guys how to get 90% of all your clients to say yes and do business. You got to ask this question as they're looking at the 6 steps. Isaac, which of these 6 steps are giving you the most challenges? And I'm going to stay quiet. And they're going to, whether they're seeing this on a Zoom call computer screen or I'm sitting in front of them face to face, they're seeing it on my laptop, whatever. I'm going to stay quiet and they're going to look at it. And sometimes husband and wife are looking at it and they'll be like, all of them, or 1 and 6, or 2 and 4, or whatever it is. They're going to tell you what is a challenge for them. And then I just propose a solution. And once they tell me 1 and 6, Carlo, okay, great. Would you like my help in putting together a complementary plan for you and your family? Would you like my help in putting together a complementary plan or strategy, whatever verbiage you want to use, for you and your family? And I'm expecting to hear yes. And why am I expecting to hear yes? Because I've been tying Isaac down for the last 40 minutes, dude, right? So of course he's going to tell me yes. I built rapport, I built trust, I've got in his world, I've showed him some logical conclusions as to why I do what I do, and I gave him a viable strategy that it's an irresistible offer. You're doing all this for me for free and you're gonna help me accomplish these goals. Like, why would I say no? But I'm gonna do it simply. Isaac, which of the 6 steps are giving the most challenges? 1 and 6, all of them, 2 and 4, whatever they are. Okay, would you like my help in putting together a complementary plan for you and your family? Yes, great. I'm so happy because I feel very confident that I'm going to be able to help you, Isaac. And if it was just a client, that's where I would end my presentation. Okay, Isaac, let's, in wrapping up here, what I'd like to do, right, is I'd like to set up a time to get together again, right? It's Saturday morning right now. I have some availability this upcoming week, Tuesday or Wednesday. Do any of those days work for you? Yes, I can do lunch, or yes, I can do 7. Perfect. And if Isaac can do, here's a very important thing. If Isaac can do Wednesday at 7, and let's say you already have a first appointment, because I've seen associates screw this up. Let's say you have a first appointment scheduled for this upcoming Wednesday at 7 p.m. for a first appointment. But Isaac says the best time that works for him is Wednesday at 7, which is a second appointment. You either match up that first appointment with somebody else, or you reschedule that first appointment and do the second appointment. Why? Because what's going to get business in your hand faster? The second appointment. You might go and say, well, I can't do Wednesday, Isaac, at 7 because I have another appointment. And then you do that first appointment and it was a dud. And you're like, man, Isaac could have met with me and I would be ready to do business sooner. You with me? Always, always put precedence your second appointments that are going to mean business for you faster, and either reschedule or match up, right? And people are flexible, guys, right? So if I had a first appointment at Wednesday at 7 and Isaac can get together at that time at Wednesday at 7, I'm going to say, let's do Wednesday at 7, Isaac. I'll see you there. Then I'm going to contact that first appointment. Hey, I've had a scheduling conflict. Is there any way we can meet at 6, right? Or maybe we can reschedule for Tuesday or Thursday. Play offense, guys, right? But make sure that your second appointments always take precedence over any first appointment, because that's what's going to be business in your pocket faster. Hope that makes sense. All right. We're wrapping up, guys. I told you we're going to 11. This is long, but I hope this is great training for you guys. So that's there with the 6 steps. And let me just go through this quickly. If they are interested in the business, I'm going to cover these 2 things, which are, the next one is, if Isaac goes like, man, this is exciting, man. I think I want to learn more about this. Cool, Isaac. Well, let me talk about compensation here. Okay, because this is how we get paid here, so you understand. And I like to just draw it out. We have PowerPoints for this stuff, but to me, guys, I just like simplicity. And I credit Doggo for this because Doggo was big on this. And I say there's three ways that we get compensated here, Isaac. One is as a referral partner. Okay. And a referral partner is, let's say you get a license, because you have to get a license, but you're super busy, right? You don't have a lot of time to put into this, but you refer people because you know people need this. So let's say you referred 4 people per month, and the average client, if you're in the right market, is saving $250 a month. And the way in an IUL, if we're looking just life insurance, the way the insurance company does is 250 times 12 months equals 3,000. So $3,000, or we call 3,000 points. This is very, A grade typical client. Sometimes you'll have clients that save a little bit less, 200, 150. Sometimes you have clients that do more, 500, 1,000. But on average, if you're doing this business the right way, this is your sweet spot. I'm telling you guys that too. It's true. So let's say, Isaac, you're super busy, but I got your back. You're in business for yourself, not by yourself. And you refer me 4 clients a month. And they're in that sweet spot. So the 3,000 times 4, that would be 12,000 points. And since you referred them to me, I'm going to split it with you. So it would be 6,000 points and 6,000 points. So I'm going to show you one of our contract levels that we do. And some of you have to get promoted this, but for sake of numbers, right? Let's say you refer to Isaac, you're at a 50% contract, 50% of 6,000, you would make $3,000 of income. You see how do you feel about that? And that's awesome. And that's true, guys. You can refer business out, and any business that's referred will be split. Okay, so don't feel like you have to do everything on your own, right? I would flood the pipeline, do what you can, and match out the rest, right? If any of you called me right now and said, Carlo, dude, I got 6 appointments on Wednesday. I can only do 2 of those, man. Help, brother. We got you, man. Let's get those other 4 appointments done. We will figure it out. Okay, that's one option. The other option is becoming a producer, meaning that you're doing this part-time, but instead of matching it out, Isaac, you're going to do it yourself. So you're like, you know what? I schedule those appointments after work on my own time. And instead of having to split it, you just get the 50% yourself, and you're going to make that $6,000, right? On your own time. And I think this is where I want to teach most of you to be right here. Great recruiters start off as really strong producers, because now you have confidence of what you can show with somebody. And a recruiter not going to work as we call broker. The other option is you can become a broker. And the fact that we can now do this nationwide, and we have people on this call right now from 3 different states as of right now, actually 4, Florida, Oregon, Arizona, and California. That's the beauty of technology now, man. We a year ago, we were all here in San Diego. The world got the world has gotten a lot smaller. So you guys can have a team in literally the 4 corners of the United States and be crushing it. And by team, I'm not talking about you need to have 400 people, just a team of a whopping 4 agents. Let's say you had 4 agents that just like you. They're like, man, I want to know what you know, Aaron. I want to know what you know, Isaac. How did you get into this, man? And you show them what you do. They're like, dude, I'm excited to learn. Now you can teach it because you're getting results with it. That's what I want to teach you guys. So I say, as a broker, you have 4 agents. Let's say for simple math, those 4 agents help 2 to 3 families a month, and they do 10,000 points. That would be a total of 40,000 points, or $40,000, however you want to look at it. $1 equals 1 point. You're going to get anywhere between 10 to 20% of overrides from your business. So you're looking at 4,000 to 8,000 in passive income and overrides on the production of your agency. So you're a leader, you're going to lead from the front. So you're going to be like, I'm still helping people, and so is my team, but your income is growing. So that's very feasible. The person that is experiencing that right now is Mr. Isaac Salcido. If you guys saw the video Dago did, Isaac's having a phenomenal month. His team is growing. And the cool thing is that I'm so proud to be there for this guy. He's doing what he can, and the team is taking up the rest. He's got new agents coming on daily. You know, he's got a lot of great stuff in the pipeline. He's on track to have a $10,000 month. He had a $6,000 week, you know, because he's out there producing on his own. And Isaac was someone that did not come from this industry. He's only going to be 27 years old. He started here when he was 23. Not bad, right? To have a 27-year-old that's building a great company, going to have a $10,000 month out of $6,000 week. But Isaac has become a strong producer, right? And he understands the craft of financial services. So if Isaac can do it, ladies and gentlemen, so can you. So when I'm recruiting somebody, I explain it these three ways. And my closing question for this one is like, Isaac, which one do you see yourself the most of? Referral partner, producer, or broker? Oh man, I think I want to start off as a producer. Perfect. Or you know what? I want to start off as a referral partner. Perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring them on board. Okay. And bring them on board is that associate membership agreement that you can either have it printed in paper, right? But it's that one-time $99.99 because that's that processing fee that we get everybody on board. That doesn't go to you. It goes to home office. And it is basically a processing fee, guys. Someone has to start a file on them. Someone's going to call them. Someone's going to nurture them. You know, that takes man hours, and it's a processing fee for people to go into our training. It's a write-off. It's a one-time thing. But you can do that. And let me show you guys. Someone asked me that, how do I bring somebody on board? Remember in the beginning of my presentation, I showed you guys how to go into the back office here to dfisdream.com. And right here, and all of you will have your own, it'll say, welcome Lisa Campbell, welcome Ruby Ramos, welcome Isaac Salcido. And then all your team will show up underneath there, right? So your entire organization. But right here, it'll say, share your DFIS link. So this link right here, you just copy and paste it, right? And this is how you yourself can just bring somebody on board, right? So I would just do this and I can gather people's information. I walk them through. It's very step-by-step. It's super simple. You can bring somebody on board yourself using your own agent ID, okay? That might be another training so I can walk people through how to do that, but it's not difficult. You just follow the computer questions. It'll tell you exactly what to do. But that's it, you know? And so that's the compensation. And then I asked that question, which of these do you see yourself the most? And the last but not least is training and time. So how much time is this going to take? And then I'm gonna say, Isaac, how many hours can you do this per week? And whatever they tell me is great. Gordon Chavez started with 2 hours a week in Oceanside, and we did it for a year. You know, Isaac started with maybe 15, 20. Whatever it is, we can work with it, guys, because it's not something that they can do it on their own schedule. So we just want to know, you as someone that's going to be working as an agent, you want to know what is the timeline that this person can put in, so you know who you're dealing with. So if they can only do 5 hours, okay, cool. I know how I'm going to plug this person in, or how I'm going to work with them. And then the training, and this is what they want to know. So I always leave on this. So we also do training. So Isaac, we do trainings on Monday nights, right, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And then we do Saturday mornings from 9:30 to 11 a.m. And we do that on Zoom. And the rest of the time is going to be field training on your own time that we can do in person or Zoom, but those are for one-on-one, right? So some of you have gone through the trainings, and I don't know if she's on here, but like, for example, Diana, I don't see her on here today's training, but Diana Lerma in Arizona, she's only been on board difference for maybe 14 days, and I think she's done about 8 field training appointments already. So it's exciting. This is how we duplicate, so we can train. I got a guy in Florida that I'm training just through Zoom, doing the same exact presentation. So this is the one-on-one presentation. I know it was a lot, and I covered a lot. I hope I didn't, I hope smoke is not coming through you guys' ears. This is why I recorded this. Any questions? I know we're a few minutes over, guys, so I know your Saturday mornings are important, but I know that this is what you guys need right now. So thank you for your feedback, Cynthia Salcido. Yes, this training is exactly what we need. Tax-free retirement, Lisa, that's a great book, right? We'll get into that. You know, today was more about just your business mind. That's going to be product when we go into product training. Great info. Good stuff, right? Thank you guys for all the feedback. Any specific questions about anything that I didn't cover, something was confusing? Was this helpful? I'd love to kind of, I'd love to hear from some of you guys because I've been talking at you guys for the last hour and a half. Let me hear from someone that's a little bit saltier here. Let me hear from Natalie Rose, right? Natalie, you've been around the game. You know, you've done a lot of trainings. What was this training for you? Give me some feedback. Let me unmute you, buddy. There you go. You there?
All right. Yes, yes. We cannot go over this enough times, because I think now that we've sat down with a few different families, everything is different and everybody's worldview is different. So like how you were saying, like their vision has to fit into ours, and ours is so large. The services that we can offer is so vast that we can help every single family, and their networks and beyond. So yeah, this we can't go over this information enough.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. I appreciate that. Thank you for your comment, Roxy. I like that you guys are chiming on the comments and to have Lisa Campbell speak again. I know this is kind of you're one of the newest people here to this industry. What did you get from today? Maybe she stepped out, went to the restroom. Who knows? Let's see who else. You know what? Let's get Ruby, right? Ruby, usually, this is you just seen this a couple times now. Ruby's brand new out of North County. Let me unmute you.
Hi, yeah.
What did you get from this?
I actually learned a lot. It was very great information. I loved it. I already have like probably some people in mind that could be this could be useful for them, and I'm really excited. Thank you for everything that you're teaching us.
Good, good. Well, I appreciate it. We're excited, guys. I appreciate the feedback. And so I guess in wrapping up here, guys. See, hold on. Thank you, Ruby. So I guess in wrapping up here is, I want you guys to be able to get a result, right? Is very important. Is how I need teach me what to do, Carlo. I need to know what do I need to do so I can be independent. This is what you need to do. Now we covered a one-on-one. Now some of you say, now how do I get in front of people? We're gonna cover that on Monday night's training. All right. So I want to make sure that you know how to get in front of, not only getting in front of people, but how to get in front of the right people, because you could be doing 20 appointments a week and completely be wasting your time because you're in the wrong market talking to the wrong people, right? And this is most of the struggle I see with younger people, especially those of you in your 20s, because you're sitting with people who are in your age group. That in your 20s, most people that's still the party phase. Most people still, like, I don't need to be saving for my future. I'm going to Vegas this weekend, dude, right? That mindset is where I don't want you to be spending too much time in. Is there an exception to the rule? Absolutely. You guys are here for those of you that are in that market. But if you did 10 appointments with people in their 20s, you're wasting your time. You want to be in the right market, what is the right market? That's what we'll cover on Monday night. So you know exactly that, okay, who do I need to get in front of? So I know exactly who to talk, and what do I need to say to this person in order to get in front of them? That's what we'll cover Monday night. And when you get in front of them, either a trainer like myself is going to do this presentation for that person with you being there, so you see the repetition, right? Or when you're ready, you're going to be doing this presentation yourself. So you can reference this video over and over again. I will send you guys the Trust Respect Customized, the PowerPoint presentation, what I drew on paper. If you're doing it in person, use a yellow pad, very simple. If you're like, well, how do I do it online and draw like you just did? You're gonna need another tool for that, which I'm gonna cover more of how to do good Zoom trainings on the 14th, so that you can be independent and be able to do appointments no matter where you're at in the country, all through Wi-Fi. So I will cover that on the 14th, more in person with you guys, those of you that would be in LA at the training. So with that being said, love you all. Thank you for your quality time this morning. I know we went a few minutes over, but I think it was valuable enough so that you guys know what to do. I will be posting this video today, maybe by tomorrow on YouTube on the Facebook page so that you can watch it over and over again, as many times as you need, so you can keep extracting nuggets of it. That's why we do technology, okay? All right, see you guys Monday evening, 7 p.m. I will post the link right at about 6:20, 6:25. And don't ever have to question, right? Is training going on? It is always going on, Monday and Saturday. The only time we'll let you know is if we have to cancel for whatever reason, but rain or shine, we are here. Okay, so just kind of put that on your training calendar. Okay, much love. Peace out, guys.
Peace out, brother. Happy Saturday.